Again, with this PowerPoint, we're going to look at two chapters together. Chapter 7, How Children Connect with the Natural World, and Chapter 8, How Children Seek Power, Drama, and Adventure. So Chapter 7, How Children Connect with the Natural World. Children explore nature with purity, and they discover it wherever they are. It is profoundly important that early childhood professionals recognize the importance of children making connections with the natural world. If you look on page 113 of Chapter 7, there is an example. There is something to see over here. Jackson was playing in the sandbox when he ran up to his teacher wide-eyed and with a huge grin on his face, and eagerly exclaimed, "Come over here, there's something to see over here." Teacher Jess followed him to the other side of the sandbox, where Jackson pointed out a big, beautiful butterfly. Soon other children who were interested in his discovery surrounded him. Jackson knelt over the butterfly and cupped his hands around it. "Don't touch him," he whispered reverently. Soon, however, he extended a finger and touched the butterfly. The touch was gentle, but he spoke eagerly. "I want to catch him, and I want to put him in a box, and he can come home with me." So there is a bit more to that, and I want you to finish reading it. But some things to keep in mind in regards to that example is there's a contrast between Jackson's empathetic words, light touch, and gentle behavior with the butterfly, with his desire to have a relationship with the butterfly and take it home with him. He wanted to hold it and take it home, but understands the fragility of the butterfly's body. He truly respects this living creature, so make sure you take a look at the ending to that story. Chapter 8, How Children Seek Power, Drama, and Adventure. Children thirst for exploration and take in what they encounter. Children are unrestrained. Adults try to tame children's excitement rather than sharing it, and we lose a lot when we don't share in it. ECE professionals need to learn from the children's pretending. Adults are taught to filter and restrict their emotional responses to fit the situation. And it might be in regards to the persons around us or in relationship to culture. The learning environment needs to be open-ended. It needs to have open-ended dress-up props and objects from many venues. It needs to have culturally relevant equipment and materials for the children who are enrolled from their cultures. It needs to have gender relevant, and also it needs to have gender neutral objects and props as well. Let's take a look at the example on page 127 of Chapter 8, I'm Superman. The open-ended fabric pieces in our classroom are one of the many open-ended materials available to children every day. The kids often use them during pretend play for blankets, beds, picnics, and tea parties. This morning, Avery walked over to me with a clothespin in one hand and a sheer pink piece of fabric in her other hand and said, "Put this on my head like this." After we successfully secured the headpiece, Avery walked over to get more fabric and returned with instructions on where to wrap it and where to clip it twice. After tweaking everything just right, Avery smiled and announced, "Superman." You read the rest and discover what happens after Avery says Superman. There are things in the real world for us to fear. In early childhood, fantasy is blurred with the real world. What they see on TV, what they see in movies, what they see in video games. Rather than responding by stopping them when they're doing things that appear to be inappropriate or adding rules, we need to watch them closely to uncover the emotional elements behind their play. Allow the children opportunities to problem solve through play and pretending. Allow the children to feel powerful and to overcome their fears and feel more competent. Allow children to try out taking risks and participating in challenges. What we have to do is address our reactions to risk-taking. If you go to page 140 of your textbook, you'll see a couple of photos that look very risky to adults, and our immediate reaction might be, that's not safe, someone's going to get hurt. Or that looks really fun, but I can't allow the children to take this risk. And we need to temper that by thinking about what is influencing our first response and what would happen if we were just to stand nearby. Take a look at that on page 140 of your textbook. Keeping in mind that taking risks allows children to try that out. It allows them to develop self-regulation, which is the ability to consciously control behavior in a socially acceptable way. Drama and adventure allows for a better understanding of the world. It allows for children to represent what they have observed and give adults insight into their interpretations. So let's look at the beginnings of two examples of that on page 129 with Scary Ninjas. As adults, we often wonder what effect violence seen in movies or heard in stories have on developing minds. And clearly the children involved in this game have experienced narratives with scary or bad parts. The group directed me to a pile of tires set up in the sandbox and asked me to sit down. They explained that they were going to make a show and that there were some parts that would be scary, but that would be just on the screen. We're going to be ninja heroes. Ninjas are sneaky bad guys and they steal things, Ben explained. Miles is a shy ninja who doesn't want to steal anything. Taylor is a princess. Noah and I are going to steal their stuff. We'll tell you if it's going to be scary. So you read the rest and find out about those scary parts. Then on page 133, here's bad guys on the playground. Are the bad guys out there yet? Nate excitedly calls out to Adam from the snack table. With this question, John, Lucinda, and Nate jump up to the window to look out to the playground with Adam. Yay, there they are, Lucinda declares. The preschoolers hurriedly cleaned up their snack area and head outside. The same scene has been happening for a few weeks now. The preschoolers anticipate outdoor time with excitement and trepidation. The bad guys are 3 kindergartners who join this group in the play for recess each day. They are bigger and older, and these 3- and 4-year-olds notice and respect these differences. Once on the play yard, the chase game begins. Nate bravely runs up to the 3 boys and shouts and laughs, "You can't catch me." The boys begin to chase him until he scampers to the top of the tunnel. That's the safe zone. Now you go to page 133 and look at the rest of that story.